So, tell me something terrible.
Do you want to start with like a slight recap then from the last episode?
Sure.
Okay, so this is the second part of the Rajneesh cult. I don't know where to like start besides like Bhagwan is their leader. He was originally in India. He kind of smashed a lot of Western and Eastern ideologies together, decided they needed to move over to the United States. They took over the small town of Antelope, aka Antelope.
Nope. Loop.
With a population of 40, they bought a 100-acre ranch. And then there's a lot of clashing between the neighbors and them. And Bhagwan is really known as like the sex guru, the guru of the rich. And
the Rolls Royce.
And yes, and the 93 Rolls Royces.
Yeah, Rolls Royce cult.
Yes. And the locals are really upset that they're, imparting.
No, you're getting there. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to impede.
Impeding on their thriving town.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also,
I apologize for all the F-bombs in the last episode. I kind of got out of control.
Did you?
Yeah, I felt.
Did you want to introduce yourselves?
Oh, yeah. Hi, I'm Tiffany.
Still Scott.
And you're listening to Tell Me Something Terrible.
Yeah, you are.
Okay.
And this is a milestone episode 70.
Yeah.
And if you include, 6 bonus episodes, 5 bonus, 75. But those don't count in real life. So this is episode 70 of actual episodes.
Yep.
So that's cool.
Doing this for a while.
Yep. Most of the year.
When did we start? Was it March?
Yeah. Because, with all the Spotify, rap stuff, we got stats. And everybody else was, a lot of other podcasts were, posting their percentage increase from the year before.
Yeah.
We didn't have any of that.
Aw.
Because we started this year.
Aw, so sad.
So sad.
So sad. Next year.
Hopefully. 48% decrease. Look at you guys go.
I'm pretty sure if we had a rapid fall off like that, I would just stop.
Yeah, no, we got our core listeners.
Yeah.
And then we get those newbies every once in a while that pop in, and then they
Binge.
power through all of them in a week.
Yeah, sorry,
That's what we're
guys.
here for.
All right, so we had an introduction. We've had a recap. On to the rest.
Yep.
So where I left us was...
They were taking over the town.
Yes, they're taking over the town, and then
You
locals
did
were
legit
openly...
cliffhanger. I didn't know when you were going to stop it, and then you just stopped it.
Yep,
and I
just stopped it.
Well, damn.
Yep. And then the locals were getting very upset about it. They didn't want them there. And there was one that said in the...
They wanted them Oregon. No?
No, that was bad.
Hey, we're only 5 minutes in, still warming up.
Okay.
You're over there hacking up a lung, so I got to get some jokes in.
Yes.
Fill the void of you just... I can't edit that out. You're just coughing right through my talking.
I'm sorry.
I wasn't going to edit it anyway, but if I could, I wouldn't.
No. And then we left with the locals being upset, and then one even threatening, quote, they weren't asking to be shot, they were positively begging for it. And that's where we left off.
Yeah, things escalated quickly.
Yes.
Okay.
They escalate
logarithmic.
further. Yeah.
Exponential?
No.
Both.
Yeah. So...
You're like math, sure.
Yep.
Just nod.
Exponential, I understand.
Uh-huh.
So the Rajneeshs then bought, after they started taking over the town, they then bought a diner, and they started surveilling locals, video recording them, for photographing them, shining their lights in their windows
Patriot
at
Act
night.
style.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's a departed joke.
No,
that no one ever gets.
This is the Rajneeshs that are doing that to the locals.
I know.
Okay.
It's one line from one movie by Alec Baldwin, The Departed, when they're listening in. He's like, Patriot Act, and he shakes,
Yes.
Okay. To me, that is a great one-liner that always needs context. So...
The Departed is a great movie.
It's almost like when I make quotes from The Mummy, and nobody has seen The Mummy as much as I saw The Mummy.
Oh my gosh. Was it like one of the 5 movies that you were allowed to watch on the farm along with
No.
Black Beauty?
No. But it is one of the movies that we owned on VHS, with the original VCR we had. Mm-hmm. So that's why it got a lot of play at my house. And John and I watched it all the time.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't listen to the podcast, but...
He should, but a jerk.
I don't think he listens to any podcasts. So it's
true.
not like he hates ours. He just...
Hates all of them?
He just, doesn't listen to podcasts.
Unlike, fun fact, apparently, Jeff Bezos hates music.
You brought this up.
No, I don't think I brought it.
podcast.
Yeah, I haven't brought it up. I just need our listeners to know. He's not like...
That's why Amazon Music's not a thing.
Yeah. No, it really literally is why it's not a thing and why Apple took off with their music because Steve Jobs actually loves music. And so he thought that was really something important to focus on. And then Jeffrey Bezos doesn't get it at all.
He's more about next day shipping. Bald people hate music. What do you want from them?
Bald people?
Yeah.
Who else do you know?
They hear hair bands and they get offended. I don't know.
I just think it's crazy. Like, it's not like, I don't really have a genre that I'm a big fan of. Like, he doesn't like music at all.
I don't know that many guys who
That's
have, like,
because
shaved
he's
big
heartless.
heads, but I'm just going to assume they all don't like music. But I'm going to ask now. When I see someone with a shaved head, I'm like, do you like music? And they'll be like, meh. Be like, I figured.
Yeah. Just keep, like, a running tally of, like, ones that say yes or no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh, where'd your hair go? Oh, with your taste in music? Okay.
Gone.
Yes.
It fell out. So.
Sorry, I was going to make a Fall Out Boy joke, and it was going to be very niche as well, so I just held it in.
Like, one person got it.
If you move your mic closer to your face, you don't have to be a hunchback.
I know, but I can't see my pages as well.
Okay, be blind.
Yep. So,
the logistics of podcasting, it's a real nightmare.
It really is. So Rajneeshs were harassing people, and
also, in 10 years of marriage, you said harass more times than you said harass, so I was like, what? Sorry. That's
trying
a side
to speak
note.
proper English. And so the harassment was really like ramping up. The locals felt like they were harassed, and then one day, a man walked into the Hotel Rajneesh that the cult owned in Portland, carried a couple of bags into his room. It was room 405, and at 1:19 in the morning, the first bomb went off.
Okay.
In the hotel that
so
the
this is a
Rajneeshs
local
owned.
that brought bombs into the Rajneesh's
Yes.
hotel. Okay.
Yep. And then 2 more bombs went off just before 3 a.m.
Huh. I don't remember the Rajneesh city bombings being big news.
Yeah. No. They didn't blow up the hotel. It was mostly just fire, and no one was hurt.
Okay.
Somehow no one died, but there was still
Not
60,
a lot of people at the hotel.
Yeah, well, there were 60 people at the hotel, and so they have like a landing spot for people in Portland if they need a place to stay before they move into the ranch.
Gotcha.
So it was like a little sub-satellite cult spot. And somebody
halfway
came
house.
Yeah, and somebody came in and bombed it.
It's a pipe bomb.
It's a mysterious ticking sound.
It's windy outside too. Our house is like
Creaking.
it's struggling with it. Yeah.
If you hear a scream, it's because the roof collapsed.
Yeah.
Just kidding. We're not that. It's not that old. And then things just only continued to escalate from there. Sheila announced essentially that violence against them would be met with violence from them. And then the group invested in automatic weapons and began practicing every single day. So they had people, because there's a lot of farmhands and country people, and they would literally teach other cult members how to shoot guns and automatic weapons.
So they're just a militia.
Yes.
Cool. That's what you need.
Yep. And then the tension continued to grow. The Rajneeshis, after gaining control over the town council, because did I mention that in the last one, that they wound up at least getting...
No.
Okay.
I knew it went political, and I knew that was what happened.
This is the first step in it. So what happened was...
they pretty much were the voting population.
Yes, they're the voting population, and then it came down to voting on the town council and like who was going to be on the council. And so enough people... Oh, no. They were going to vote on discontinuing it as a town. I think we did talk about that.
Yeah, you did talk about that.
And they decided to keep it, and then they had a town council voting, and they voted in... All the Rajneeshs came and voted in...
all the Rajneeshs?
Yeah, all the Rajneeshs. But they did keep one local man on the council. It was 2, but the one guy was like, peace, and didn't want to do it, and literally left town.
Yeah.
And then the one local... There's one local on the town council, and everybody else was...
All the open carry guns were like, oh, I'm going to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good choice. Be caught in a literal firefight.
Yep.
And so the Rajneeshs voted to change the name of Antelope to Rajneeshpuram, since they are on the council, and they can
And
do
let's
that.
be honest, there probably wasn't any antelope there anyway.
No, most likely not. And then they also created an armed, quote, peace force.
Okay.
Yep, and they elected a new mayor.
I always say the first step to peace is automatic weapons.
Yes.
I mean,
It is literally the American way. You can't be mad at these people. They are assimilating to the culture so quickly.
what year is this when they started? doing
1980.
Okay. Mm-hmm. That's
About when they
recent?
started. Yeah, but it's about when they started militarizing the police force.
Yeah.
Because they had all these extra tanks. So they were like, yeah, give them to the cops. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
And then Sheila was adamant that they planned to take over the whole town and then, like, publicly announcing they're going to take over the town and then the county and then in the state if they had to in order to grow and practice their beliefs how they saw fit.
Okay.
Yep. So an election was coming up, another election, to vote on the seats
For
of
a sex cult, you think they'd be more chill.
No, they were very, yeah, you would think. A
Yeah.
lot of that tension release.
Yeah, they're gonna need like some naps, like whatever. No,
violent.
they're getting it.
And so an election was coming up to vote on the seats of the county council. So we're going one step up from the town council to county council.
Moving on up.
Yep. So after closed doors discussions with the Bagwan, Sheila enacted the Share a Home initiative, sending out buses across the entire country to gather United States like homeless population. Like as far as DC, Texas, they went everywhere collecting homeless people. They were dubbed street people in the documentary. And bringing them back to the commune, the Muddy Ranch, and they would give them access to food, shelter, work, safety, and 2 beers a day. In exchange, all they had to do was vote.
Okay.
So in Oregon, you only had to be a U.S. citizen and an Oregon citizen for 20 days. So
that's pretty quick. Yeah.
Yep. And so they rounded up thousands, like tens.
I wonder if it's back
thousands.
so like during the gold rush they could tax people quicker,
Maybe.
like sooner.
Yeah.
I feel like there's probably a lot of boomtowny stuff out there. Mm-hmm. So I wonder if they're like, yeah, once you live here 20 days, you're our state.
Yep.
Like you're a citizen
as soon
of
as
here.
you hit gold,
Yeah.
we're gonna tax
Exactly, because you're not hitting it within your first 3 weeks.
you. And then
They lost their spot just like you did.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. So
It's right after 2
I think
beers
they
a
brought
day.
in. I found it. I think they brought in like 6,000 homeless people or something like that. They needed to get enough of a population for their town in order to know that they wouldn't.
You think they could have just gone to L.A. like nowadays?
Yeah.
Don't they have a massive homeless problem? Yeah.
I think so. So they needed to have more people in their town than any of the other towns so that they would have a voting majority to get on a county seat.
They weren't gonna get a lot of outsider votes. You're saying?
No,
Huh,
no,
that's weird.
nope. Mm-mm. So on the day that the street people living at the commune showed up to get registered to vote, the county clerk made sure she made an announcement that all new voter registrations were being unanimously denied across the board. They just decided at a county level that no one was going to be able to register for a vote. No one. Didn't matter if you were homeless or like a person who actually legitimately moved there.
Yeah.
All of them were suspended.
Equally screwed.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then suddenly people all across the county started getting sick. They were vomiting, getting headaches, having diarrhea. There was 700 plus total people that got
COVID.
sick. Probably. Yes. And so the CDC was called in.
Alpha variant.
The alpha variant. Yeah, since we skipped alpha.
Yeah.
So the CDC was called in. They determined that it was salmonella, but they were unable to find a source.
Not Shigella? Lame.
Is that transferred through food too? Shigella?
Through stool.
Oh.
Through food.
Ew.
Food poisoning's fun like that.
Okay.
That's how. Just wash your hands after you take a shit. Come on, people.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
not that hard.
Yeah.
E. coli can also kill you. I know it tried to kill me.
Well, yeah, ladies are built funny, but yeah.
Yes, we're built differently. Yes. So they were unable to find a source, the CDC. They ultimately decided that it was poor food handling in 3 different local restaurants. Because they were like, oh, most people that work in the restaurant industry live together. So this person worked at this restaurant, this person worked at this restaurant. It probably came from one household and spread. That's what the CDC decided.
I mean, that's probably solid detective work in the 80s.
We'll get to it.
Okay.
So the day of the election arrived, and the Rajneeshes were kept off the county council, and this enraged them even further that they weren't going to be stopped until the state had rezoned the ranch to build a city. So they just were going to keep pushing and just going to like openly threaten people and harass people until they got what they wanted.
Good move.
So there were death threats on both sides, even public death threats from Sheila. Sheila was getting more and more paranoid, concerned that the Bhagwan was being negatively influenced as he became closer to a new subgroup of followers dubbed the Hollywood group. Ooh. So yes, they were made
Hollywood
of...
Undead? You wish.
Then the Charlie Sheen has got a weenie and he loves to, whatever the words
Show it
are.
off.
Yes, that would be like the theme song at the ranch. So this group of the Hollywood group was made of rich Hollywood elitists, one of which was the producer of The Godfather. So yes, which is a lady.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Sheila decided that she was going to wiretap Bhagwan's home and his room to suss out what was being said to her leader, like separate from her. Like these people even bought him $1 million watch. So he was like, come talk to me.
Well, and they're like,
influence me.
this guy loves 100 Rolls Royces. We can buy his loyalty.
Yes.
Yeah, that's not really.
Or we can buy his favor.
That's not advanced psychology. Yeah.
No. So Sheila was, getting paranoid. She decided to tap his room. And then one day she found a conversation between him and his new doctor, the Bhagwan, asking the least painful way to kill someone.
Just general small talk. Just shooting the shit. Hey, doc, quick question. What's the least painful way to kill someone? Just hypothetically. I can see that going down.
Yeah. It's actually not headed where you think.
Okay, good.
Okay. So the doctor suggested morphine in like a 2-step medicine process that paralyzes and then stops the heart, kind of like how they do lethal injections.
Okay.
So the doctor agreed to order the medicine needed, and Bhagwan's plan was to die on the next Master's Day.
Okay, so off himself?
Yes, just himself.
Okay. The second dose is going to be hard to give yourself.
The doctor was going to do it.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I thought he was going to do it himself. I was like, I see a logistic problem here.
No, the doctor was going to administer it, and everybody there on Master's Day, all like 15 to 30,000 people, would have witnessed it happen.
Oh, good. So then there wouldn't be any controversy. Okay. I like where Bhagwan's head's at here.
Yep. And so
Bhagwan.
So Sheila convinced one of her other close followers to try to kill the doctor before the doctor could kill Bhagwan.
Okay.
And then she did it.
Listen here, Sheila. I feel like Bhagwan could just find another doctor to do it.
Yeah.
Like, he knows how. He's a connected dude with lots of money. Don't kill the doctor. You're just putting a Band-Aid over the issue. Have a grown-up conversation with Bhagwan. I don't know how you said it the first time.
Bhagwan.
You sure? Because I thought you said Bhagwan. Anyway.
Whatever.
Just
He's dead and a cult leader. Who cares?
I don't like Sheila anymore. I never really liked her. Now I'm just anti-Sheila.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good choice. All around.
Thank you.
So on September 13th, Sheila and 21 of her closest subgroups, because she did wind up, she convinced her follower
to kill the doc.
Yes, to try to kill the. She didn't wind up. She straight up. They handed her a needle, pen needle. That's diabetes. A shot with poison in it, and she walked right up to him at the Master's Day, and she tapped him on the shoulder and went to lean over and whisper something really quiet in her ears. And when he asked, leaned in closer to listen, she stabbed him and injected him with a poison.
Hey, look at her getting her hands dirty though. She could have made a grunt do that, Charles Manson style. No, she did it herself.
No, it wasn't Sheila. It was a grunt.
You thought you just said it was Sheila?
No, Sheila convinced one of her followers.
No, I'm gonna
to
listen back to this. You just told me it was Sheila.
No.
So she is Charles Manson. Anyway, keep going.
Yes, she is Charles Manson.
Yes.
And so on September 13th, Sheila and 21 of her closest subgroup of followers packed up one of those private planes that they had on the ranch and took off in the middle of the night, headed to Germany without saying goodbye to anybody, not even Bhagwan, and he was pissed.
Okay.
Yeah.
What?
He finally broke his silence. He was so pissed.
Okay. I'm just confused. Why would you kill the doctor and then leave? Just let Bhagwan kill himself if you're just going to leave anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
I don't get it. I think that was the day. There was a lot of things that led up to it, but
Does
I
Sheila
think
have a Twitter? Can we tweet at her?
No.
Okay.
No, I think there were a lot of, they explained it in the documentary. There was a lot of things that she says was happening and that she felt uncomfortable with. And so she like was starting to, what's the word? Like not disenfranchise, but deconstruct. She started to deconstruct from the cult. And so she was like, things are crazy according to her, but she's also like,
out there.
yeah.
Okay.
That's why I said you got to take this documentary if you watch it with a grain of salt. They pitted things. They had a narrative. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they apparently she took $43 million with her.
Is that all?
Yeah.
Okay.
According to Bhagwan.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
It probably wasn't that much, but anyway.
That might have been.
Maybe.
We don't know because she didn't say anything about how much she took.
I want to know what kind of plane they got there that can fly from Oregon to Germany like nonstop. That is
They don't. They have to stop. We'll get to it.
Okay, cool.
We'll get to it.
All right, we'll keep going.
Yep. Okay.
I've got all these questions,
yes,
if you couldn't tell.
They'll get answered. So the producer of The Godfather, that lady that part of the Hollywood group.
Should I Google it?
Yeah, I can't remember her name. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Bhagwan announced that she was going to be his new secretary, along with the new mayor of the town. And so Bhagwan broke his silence, accusing Sheila of murderous assassinations of attorney generals and office and officials and his doctors, because when those 750 people were poisoned with a salmonella, there were city officials that got really sick as well.
Okay.
So she winds up getting charged later on with like 3 attempted murder charges or something like that.
I believe it was the wife of the director of The Godfather.
Okay.
Yes. Or the producer of The Godfather was Albert S.
So it was his
Ruddy.
wife.
It's his wife, Francois Ruddy.
Sure. That sounds right. Yes.
Who goes by Ma Prem Hasya.
Yes.
Yes.
Because this cult
Yep.
is still being carried on.
Yep.
Yep.
Cool. Anyway.
I've so far, every cult except for one that I've picked this month is still kind of ongoing.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So Sheila packed up and left. Bhagwan was super pissed. And Bhagwan finally broke his silence, accusing Sheila of murderous assassinations of the attorney generals and office officials and his doctor, and then stealing the $43 million.
Yep.
And just creating general unrest within the commune. So everything that was wrong was Sheila's fault. That Sheila was misinterpreting like the information, how she wanted things ran, like it was all her, and he didn't have anything to do with any of it.
Okay. Seems very cult leaderish.
Yeah, he was only there to teach the message, and that was all he ever talked to Sheila about. Everything else she did on her own fruition.
Well, if you go silent, you're going to, leave some things open to interpretation.
Or he's lying.
Either way, yeah. He
allegedly,
opened the door for a lot of gray area there.
Yes. So at this time, the Rajneeshes decided to start working with law enforcement. Before, they were like, no, this is just us. So they started working with the law enforcement, and this allowed the law enforcement to enter the ranch for the first time to aid in finding evidence to charge Sheila with all of these crimes that she was being accused of. And so the law enforcement went through tens of thousands of documents. The newest secretary tried to paint a better picture in the media of the Rajneeshes, because Sheila had really kind of projected this like angry, violent, image. And
peace, love, cult thing.
Yep.
Gotcha.
And so the new secretary was trying to spin it to portray them as a group of people that had been betrayed by like a trusted leader, and they were a group of peaceful people.
Just a real underdog story.
Yes, that's exactly it. And they just wanted to live freely and spread love instead of being a controversial group that would like turn to violence to get their way. So at this point, Sheila and Bhagwan were publicly at each other's throats. Like they were being interviewed and like lobbing threats back and forth publicly.
Just using the media?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Because Sheila never spoke to him again.
Yeah.
So they would throw their wild accusations, willy-nilly truck driver at one another, like you said, over the media. And then one day, that one lone local councilman, he took a trip to the dump. So then he spotted a Rajneesh's poster and pulled it out and saw a stockpile of documents underneath it, marked shred after meetings.
Oh, good work. You had one job, somebody. Somebody had one job.
Yes. So it was the minutes from the daily meetings and now they had enough evidence to get a search warrant. So 50 FBI and local police officers raided the compound. After trying to get Bhagwan deported from this country for the past 4 or 5 years at this point, they tried to pull his visa and his green cards. They tried to prove that he was leading a cult, and claiming that they were infringing on this thing called the Establishment Clause that was in Oregon's Constitution, and it required a separation of church and state when you were establishing a city. So they were trying to prove that there was no separation, that all the city council, everything was actually made under his guidance that was influenced by his religion.
Yeah.
So they're trying literally everything to try to get him out of the country. And now they finally have enough evidence to put criminal charges against him for something.
Yeah. Find a dead body in a Rolls Royce. That'll really,
do it.
Yeah.
So
break that camel's back. The straw, that is.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Oh, because
you just turned a page. How'd you lose a spot?
Because
I would start
I
at the
carried
top.
on. No, I carried on and said
page.
half this paragraph already. So some of the evidence that they were looking for to prove that it was, breaking the Establishment Clause.
Also, you said no one died at the beginning of this. You already said 4 people who've died.
No, there's been attempted murders. There's been no one's died yet.
What about the doctor?
The doctor hasn't died.
Oh, he's poisoned but not dead?
Yeah, he survived.
You made it sound like he died.
Okay. She tried to kill him.
Gotcha.
She came out. She
I
found
thought
out.
council people and all sorts. Okay.
Not a single. That's a lie. There's one person that dies. We'll get to it.
Okay, good.
And so other evidence that they had for the Establishment Clause was that the school that they built was solely teaching the cult's beliefs. And then the bookstore that was in the city only sold books by one author.
Bhagwan?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So all this was
He's just super popular. If they put anything else up, it just sits there. They just, they put out what sells.
Yeah, totally. So all of this evidence was gathered in an attempt to try to have the city marked as void. And if they figured it was void and that they could kick Bhagwan out of the country, then they hoped that the Rajneeshes would just disband.
Yeah, they just give up and go
Yep.
away. Mm-hmm.
Yep. So after the raid, they carried out over 35,000 pages of evidence, tens of thousands of hours of recorded tapes, because it wasn't just Sheila that bugged
Bhagwan had everything bugged too.
Everything, yes.
Naturally.
Yes. So there were wires found in every single building and every phone line on the commune. Everything was recorded. They also had proof that mail in and out of the commune was being censored. And they also found evidence. Well, they actually found their stash of guns. They were mostly semi-automatic weapons like AK-47s and Uzis. AK-47s and Uzis. Their arsenal was actually larger than the entire state of Oregon's police force at the time.
Oh. Mm-hmm. That's aggressive. Okay, good.
Yep.
Good.
Yep.
They probably had a higher budget, too.
Probably.
If she could just up and steal $43 million,
yeah.
They got some liquid assets.
Yeah, they do. And they also found an underground bunker, including bathrooms and kitchens, and
this is feeling
a
very
jacuzzi tub.
Like WW2, as you would say.
Yeah. WWII. There was also tunnels throughout.
Nice.
Yeah. Through a secret entrance in
Now
Sheila's
I just want to go
house.
there and explore.
Yeah. We'll get to it.
Okay, cool.
So Sheila's house was also known as Jesus' Grove.
Okay.
Yep. So there's also documents showing members flying
Wait,
out.
I thought they were Buddhist.
It's supposed to be religionless overall. But yeah, there was a lot of Buddha.
But she's pretty much got the Garden of Eden in her house.
Yes.
This bitch.
The whole thing was Garden of Eden. You walked in, the old one in India, you'd walk in, there was literally parrots and trees and rivers and ponds and shit flowing in India.
That sounds way nicer than
rocks in a farmland.
Than bumfuck Oregon, yeah.
Yep. So in order to
Antelope, sorry. I don't want to besmirch the name of antelope.
You mean antelope?
Yes.
So in order to get citizens green cards faster, people green cards faster that weren't American citizens, they would fly people, couples, out of the ranch to different states, usually in Texas.
Yeah.
And they would have a meet cute and then make plans and move in together and build a life together and then get married, and then they would fly back to Oregon and then just keep living their lives however they were living them before. So they found hundreds of fraudulent marriages like that.
Yeah.
Yes. And then they would, so all that wound up leading to immigration fraud because these people weren't actually like in love and actually married. They just had like this sheet of paper to get them into the country.
Good enough.
Yep. And then there was also proof that they found of Sheila okaying spiking the 2 beers a day with antipsychotics to keep the homeless population that they recruited manageable. Fun, huh?
Good.
Yep. And then most importantly, they found strands of salmonella in their like 3 trailer wide lab that matched the strains that made the 750 plus people sick. And also devices that they hid in their sleeves to contaminate the salad bars at the aforementioned restaurants.
Nice. That's a full-blown, like, crazy operation here.
Yes. It is literally the largest case of immigration fraud and poisoning in the history of the United States. Yes.
That's fun.
Yep. I lost my spot again because I looked up at you. Okay. So this was...
If only you had a pen your hand
I found
to write where you're at.
So this wound up killing at least nearly killing at least 2 elected officials. Like 2 of them had to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
And this was all in an attempt.
They're just hammering that salad bar.
Yeah. So this was all in an attempt to reduce how many people showed up to vote against the Rajneeshes in the county seat election, which is why everybody seemed to get sick at that same time.
Gotcha.
Later, there was also a rash of poisoned chocolates going around to the townspeople.
A Rajneesh?
A Rajneesh of chocolates.
Sorry.
They don't really know who sent it. They just like one dude found one of the chocolates and it had like a puncture hole in the middle of it underneath, and they tested it and it was poisoned. And these like boxes just showed up on people's like doorsteps. And
this is like Harry Potter with the cupcakes when they knock out Crabbe and Goyle.
Yes.
It's like that shit. Like it's too dumb. Of course it's going to work. Yeah. Free cupcakes.
Here's something that I meant to include that I didn't include.
Okay. But you're going to include?
Yes, because it is so nasty. I remember it. So they were trying to poison the water supply as well with salmonella, and they realized that wouldn't work. And so one of the followers at some point had read somewhere online that they found out that beavers carry a lot of diseases. Okay. And so the aqueduct that fueled the water for like Portland and that whole county like area, it is an open air like aqueduct and like treatment plant. And so they went to go to the aqueduct to shove these beavers inside of it and realized that there was fencing around it, so they couldn't get the beavers into the water.
Did they throw them over the fence?
Nah, they went back, killed all of them, put them in blenders, and poured it into the water supply instead.
Okay, that's A, horrible on a lot of levels, B, not good science, and C, like, you're ruining your blenders too. Like,
guys, the blenders. Those KitchenAids are expensive.
No, those had to be like food ninjas. If you're like a whole beaver,
tails and bones and teeth
that's not
all.
like blending a bird. Like you could do that in like a Dollar General blender. These had to be high powered blenders for one.
Industrial kitchen blenders.
Also, the reason the beaver is probably a good conduit for disease is because it's a living, breathing animal that's susceptible to salmonella, and it has to be living. Not beaver puree. Like, that's not how any of this works.
No.
Stupid.
Nope. Yeah.
Stupid. Cruel and stupid.
The worst kind of cruel.
Yes.
So.
Like, I'm not a vegetarian, but leave the beavers alone.
Yeah.
Like, just... I would be less upset if they threw them over the fence.
No, because it was like almost like it was like a concrete oval shape dome thing, and at the bottom it had supports and it was opened, but it had fencing around the bottom, so they had no way to get it inside.
Oh, okay.
So they literally ground it up so they could get it through the fence.
Just
holes.
Break in somehow. Don't.
Yeah, snip the fence.
Something. Just.
That never occurred to me. Yeah, just snip the fence.
Don't drive all the way home looking the beavers in the eyes and be like, you know what? Let's make them so they fit through the fence. And they're like, how are we gonna do that? Well, liquefy. Like, no, what a dumb idea. Dumb idea. Anyway.
That's the thing that's taking you over the edge.
Yes.
You're like, this whole thing, 93 Rolls Royces, Salmonella poisoning. Beavers? Beaver puree?
Yeah, I don't care about politicians getting food poisoning is not going to offend me. If you're blending up beavers, now you're just assholes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was bad. So anyway.
Are we going to call this episode Blended Beavers? Because I don't know if that's a catchy one or cringy enough. People are like, I ain't fucking listening to that.
Why not both? So the day that the FBI raided the compound, that night.
Do you think it tasted like cinnamon? Isn't that where they say like
Vanilla.
Or vanilla, yeah.
No. That's all they did was just make the water taste
Like,
sweet.
are you making brownies? No, dude, we're blending beavers. I smell vanilla. All right, there's a little backstory. What is it? What part of the beaver they say vanilla extract comes
like
from?
Like an anal gland of some
yeah.
sort?
Well, when you blend the whole thing, you're going to hit all the glands.
Yeah, you are.
But yeah, so anyway, there's like a vanilla extract that
artificial flavoring for it
allegedly,
came from.
yeah, or used
no,
to.
it used to.
Yeah, it doesn't anymore.
No, now it's just the scent. So if you have like
now
a perfume or something, well, no, like the really expensive high end ones, the perfumes will still have beaver butt in them. So
beaver anal
good
juice,
news. Yes,
good.
Think of that next time you're like, this smells so
yeah.
good.
Yeah. Ooh, an $85. Ooh, this is fresh beaver butt. From Oregon. Here they have the nicest beaver butts up there. Sorry. Keep going.
Okay.
Please keep going.
So the night that like they raided it that evening, Bhagwan got on a Learjet with 20 other people and $55,000 in cash in an effort to flee the country. And so the U.S. federal government went on high alert. They were alerted by that lone councilman. They were like, hey, if you see anything funny, let us know. And he was like, oh, hey,
outsider.
these jets just took off 45 minutes ago. And they're like, all right. So the federal government went on high alert. They were scrambling to find a way to stop Bhagwan from leaving the country. So they got wind that the plan...
I have like Star Wars TIE fighters like flying off in my head. Like that's
Yes.
that's how they fly off in my head. Yeah. And
Every jet.
Yeah. And then you got like the X-Wing. Anyway, sorry. They clearly live on the Death Star.
Yes, they definitely
It's
do.
not pure. No, it's the Death Star.
Nope.
Yep.
And so the FBI got wind that they planned on stopping in Charlotte, North Carolina to refuel before heading out of the country. So no, their jets don't go from from Oregon to Germany.
I thought they had
they have to stop at the coast and then keep going.
Gotcha. Should have set up base on the East Coast when I do that.
Seriously,
Right?
What were they thinking? There's a lot of theater
They're
connections
thinking
in New
Ohio
York City.
sucks.
So does everyone.
And that was the only spot with enough land for all their weird takeover. Anyway.
So again, they were concerned about how much firepower they might need, like on the plane. Like when they went to go do their raid, they actually brought in the National Guard in case they were going to need it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because they were concerned about having another Jonestown situation, because Jonestown had just happened 2 years before.
What was the one down in Texas? The standoffy one.
The Waco.
Waco. I would be more worried about a Waco situation.
That's what they were worried about.
Yeah.
No. Oh, see, that's why I need to do Jonestown. You don't know what happened after Jonestown.
After South America?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I never made it past that part because that's the traumatic part.
Yeah. I mean, like, these are instances, these are things that were happening immediately after that. But yeah, see, that's why I got to do Jonestown. Not everybody knows the nitty gritty.
Got to.
Yep.
Do it for your birthday.
Oh, I was going to.
Jokes. I don't care when you do it.
So they were concerned about having a firefight, and they knew that they had weapons on the plane. They just needed to know that they had to handle it like quickly and quietly without anybody dying.
Just shoot it out of the air.
Yep. No. So the plane landed.
That was sarcasm.
Don't.
I know I get this a lot at work too. My sarcasm is so dry, it just comes off as honesty. It sounds like it's not. So podcast, I realize sometimes I should probably be more
effective with your voice.
No, I should probably explain that more often because I don't want people to be like, "Oh, he's like an insensitive asshole." I'm an asshole. I'm not insensitive.
Clearly, he's almost crying over beavers.
My comedic timing is sometimes can be
very
misconstrued.
Yeah,
yes.
it's very quick and it comes out very plain.
Dry. Yes. Yep. I'm aware of that. I've become more aware of that as I go, especially because now I have to listen to myself try to be funny, and it's sometimes I'm like, wow, I'm the one that said that, and that was kind of mean.
Yeah.
And
like, please, context. Just know, it just comes out bad.
Yeah, I'm not super cold-hearted. Like fairly not, but it's just my humor.
It's part of the humor.
Yes, that's the juxtaposition of me. You just gotta take that. Anyway,
He's a big burly, like he's like.
I'm not burly.
No,
I'm short and pudgy. There's not a lot of that.
You're
can't.
soft and squishy and sweet looking, and we're raised like Catholic, not Catholic, Christian, and like you're like, oh, don't get them confused.
Yes, you often lump Catholics in with like Christian, and like there's separation of church and church. All right,
is there?
Yes. Keep going.
The plane landed, and then it was immediately surrounded by federal agents, boarded, and Bhagwan was found like squished like between seats, like trying to hide.
He's got a cushion over his face. They won't see me.
If I close my eyes,
I'm a guru. They won't see me. Nobody look at me.
So,
shit! I look more like an aisle seat. I knew I was in the wrong spot. Sorry. A terrible joke.
So Bhagwan and his followers were arrested and taken into custody without a single shot fired.
Okay.
So as Sheila sat and watched it all unfold from her hideout in Germany, she heard a knock on her door, and she was then arrested along with 3 of her followers and extradited back to the United States.
Oof.
Yeah, at the same time. So it took 3 weeks to move Bhagwan from North Carolina back to Oregon. On purpose. The FBI wanted to take as long as legally possible, hoping that it would just break Bhagwan down. Mm-hmm. And it worked.
Oh, nice.
Yep. So once he talked to his lawyers, one of which was the former mayor of Rajneeshpuram, the one that they had, like, after Sheila and everybody else left, they elected a new mayor. He was a lawyer of a huge firm out in California, left it all behind to go join Bhagwan.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So he's not just some schmuck.
No, he was like voted like one of the like most rapidly growing lawyers of all time. He was super rich. He was like a lawyer of like the stars. Yes, lawyers.
Okay, good.
And so
what was OJ's? Was his Johnny Cochran?
I can't remember.
Something. Anyway, I just remember all the Seinfeld jokes about. Anyway,
all I know is that he 100% was in a white Bronco. after all of the harassment. Hold on, I need to know OJ's. It gets better.
Lawyer.
I almost said Blazer.
Did you?
And then you were. I never would have let it. I would never had it live down.
Never.
Okay. So after consulting with his lawyers, one of which was the former mayor, they convinced.
Was the Johnny Cochran thing just a Seinfeld thing? Hold on. Now I'm just going down the rabbit hole. Yes.
So all of these lawyers, after chatting with them. And then also Bhagwan was convinced that his body would not be strong enough to withstand like a 6-week long trial like they told him was going to happen. Bhagwan decided to plead guilty to immigration fraud with like the documentations with all of the weddings going back and forth. And then
Texas shenanigans, yep.
Yes. And then his immigration fraud because he clearly was breaking the establishment clause. His visa.
He was full-blooded Oregonian. Or
no, because you have to be.
It's a joke.
Oh,
I understand.
Oh, well,
what do you call someone from Oregon?
Oregonian.
Is it?
I think so.
Okay.
I said that confidently enough that it is now.
Oregon with the wind.
Yep. Oregon. Yes. Oregon with the wind. His visa. He was there as like a religious teacher. And so once they proved
are they
that,
exempt probably to some extent?
Well, yes. Yeah, it's easier like to get a green card. Anyway, he had a green card based on being a religious teacher, and then since they tried to get the city declared void and like proving that he was breaking the establishment clause to try to get rid of his visa or green card or whatever his status was. So he also agreed that he would leave the country.
Okay.
So he wouldn't have to go to jail or anything. It's just time served. Get out of here. Never come back.
Get on a plane. Deuces.
Yep. So there was a mountain of evidence. Most of it was eyewitness accounts of sannyasins who quickly flipped after Bhagwan's arrest. But according to the aforementioned lawyer mayor, the hard evidence was weak against him, which is another reason why he just decided just to plead guilty.
They're like, tell us everything you know. You get to pick whichever Rolls Royce you want.
Yeah, and just leave.
12 of them are already gone, so there's only 80-some left.
And so Sheila, on the other hand, she was slapped with an attempted murder charge, 3 of them, poisoning and conspiracy to attempt murder, and was required to leave the country once she served her time and she was released from jail.
Where was she originally from?
India.
Oh, okay, she was too?
Yes,
okay.
Yep.
Sorry, her name was Sheila, so I expected her from be like Massachusetts or something. Yeah.
No, nope. She was from India too. And she actually met him in 1968 when she was a teenager and was like, oh my, like when she was in the documentary, she talks about the first time that she met him and how she was like crying. It was like the most joyous moment of her entire life.
Yeah.
And this was back when she was like 16 and
I feel like it was much more legit when it was in India, and then it got a little sketchy over here.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
And so she was asked to leave the country, and while her closest follower who tried to kill the doctor, she was also charged with attempted murder. And so Sheila is currently living in some forest in Switzerland.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
The Swiss Alps?
Mayhaps.
Perhaps.
Yes. That's why they could interview her, because Switzerland doesn't extradite people.
Yeah, they're like a neutral or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, as his Rolls Royces were being auctioned off in Texas, and the followers that he left behind packed their bags to head home.
I still think they should all got one.
Yeah, they should.
Trade testimonies for Rolls Royces.
Yep. Bhagwan made his way back to his original commune in India. He was welcomed with open arms. He continued to teach his beliefs. Some of his followers made the trek to India after leaving the muddy ranch. The lawyer mayor that I mentioned, he followed him.
Okay, nice.
So he was kind of starting over with just a smaller back to square one, full circle. And in January of 1990, after growing old and frail, his last words as he died in the arms of one of his followers was, "I
Fuck
leave
Sheila.
my dream to you."
Wait, what?
I leave my dream to you.
Much more poetic.
Yes. And the coroner recorded his death as an accidental overdose.
That's a joke. Crooner.
No.
No.
The crooner.
Okay.
Nope.
No.
So the coroner recorded his death as an accidental overdose.
Morphine?
Probably.
Okay.
His lawyer follower was very sus about how he died anyway.
I'm sure it was probably sus, but probably by his own decision. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's also like, because he obviously tried it before. It just took him 5 years to finally do it again.
Yeah.
And while many of his followers are still learning how to deconstruct from the brainwashing and teachings from their time at the ranch decades later, his books are still being sold around the world. They've been translated into 50 different languages, and the followers of his teachings are gradually increasing. So it's just been led by like a very small core group of followers, kind of took up the reins and went from there. And that is the story of the Rajneeshis, and the largest wiretapping case in United States history, largest poisoning case in U.S. history, and largest immigration fraud in U.S. history.
Nice. They can hang those from the rafters.
Yeah, they can.
Yeah.
Good plaques. You know, like how like you have
it's
like YouTube platinum buttons.
Yeah.
But like,
no, they're probably like Guinness plaques, like Guinness Book of World Records registered, largest poisoning, largest wiretappings.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Certified. Yeah. It's like when those Ripley Believe It or Not books.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, those were great. I had a bunch of those.
I have one that's huge. And
Yeah.
I was like, I don't understand. I feel like in the early 2000s, a big fad was like giant books.
Coffee table books.
Yeah.
But of everything.
Yeah, like what? No, nobody's going to be like, I need a book that's uncomfortably large.
I had the Guinness Book of World Records was literally like an encyclopedia. It was in size like 10 font. It was like 3 inches thick, and it was like a 5x7 book. It was insane. And I nerded out on that shit. I loved it.
Right?
Yeah.
Anywho, you got sources?
I do. Guinness Book of World Records. The Wild Wild Country on Netflix. Like I said, take it with a grain of salt. It's a little bit cringy. They had to have an entertaining spin on it, you know.
Yeah.
There's still a shit ton of information.
Yeah, Netflix documentaries never claim to be unbiased. Like they're produced in a way that's supposed to be like
Entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah, so take it as entertainment with education.
Yeah.
And then there was
based on a true story.
Yes, I did wind up having to use a little bit of Wikipedia, just because there's so much information.
So only in your state, Oregon?
Nope. I used although I don't know why that isn't in their state. I guess people still don't like talking about it.
Yeah. It's probably not.
Yeah.
That's probably true.
And then an article from HuffPost called "I Covered the Rajneesh Cult. Here's what Wild Wild Country leaves out," because I tried to get a rounded opinion, by Jim Popkin. And this is the guy. He did a lot of researching. They sent him out there with Associated Press to like go and talk. So he's like one of the original reporting people. Reporting people? News people?
Nope, reporting people.
Yep. On the whole cult. And then there was also an article titled Rajneeshpuram was More Than a Utopia in the Desert. It was a Mirror of Time, and that was from the National Endowment of Humanities. So I tried to get some actually really good,
credible
reputable-
sources.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
reputable.
How,
I'm trying not to lean on Wikipedia so much because you make fun of me so much about it.
I don't make fun of you.
And I've been using less only in your state. And I punched your printer again.
You did punch printer again. We're going to have to move our setup here.
We are.
I only make fun of you because it was like 2 episodes in a row. That was like
was.
only in your state. And I was like, isn't that like the...
It's like a listicles.
Isn't that like the bottom of every like ad you read? It's like one of those spammy articles you don't click on.
Yeah, but they have good
It's
jumping
just
points.
above like the how to make your dick 2 inches bigger pictures. Yes.
What kind of weird porn sites are you going to? Where there's
No.
weird dick pills,
This is like-
and then above it is only
This is
your
like
state.
any newspaper article you read. You get to the bottom, and it's like where are these celebrities now? How to make your dick bigger? Only in your state. 10 vacation spots in New Zealand. Like yeah. No, that's I'm not even I'm not mad about it. I'm just saying that's what's on like every newspaper when you get to the bottom.
Newspaper websites.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what you're calling them nowadays.
Yes. My daily comics.
No, that's so bad. All right.
Anyway,
I hope you learned something.
yeah, hope this was a good 2-parter.
And I dropped a lot less F-bombs this time. I
Look
felt
at
like
you
I
go.
met my quota in the last one.
Yeah. And this we could have put this as one like hour and 40-minute long episode. but
Nah.
that seems like an awfully big piece of dry turkey to swallow. So we split it up and put some gravy on
That's
it.
what you're calling it now? Some baby gravy?
No.
Man chowder?
Stop it. Stop it.
Hopefully you've...
I hope you turned it off after the story got over because
Yeah.
I might edit all this out.
No, because we have to add our tagline.
What's our tagline?
If you've made it this far.
That's not congrats, but no, that's not our tagline. That's just sometimes we remember
It's
to
a
say
sign
that.
off.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah.
We don't have a cat that asks for cookies, so
No.
we do have a dog. Oh, where'd she go?
I don't know.
She's behind me.
You would have crushed her.
I would have crushed her.
Oh, we had to take a pause for the cause because someone didn't print off their last piece of research.
And I almost fell back in my chair and killed the dog, apparently. So, behind the scenes.
Yep.
That's why we don't do video podcasts anymore.
Nope.
There's a lot of unsavory
Scott
stuff. you would say.
literally pushing me over in one kind of.
I also have a purple/yellow/brown bruises on both my eyes, black eyes, whatever you want to call them still, from breaking my nose.
Yeah.
So, sorry if I sound nasally and you didn't listen to part 1 of this, which is
Which
a
would
bold
have been
move.
weird.
Yeah, I don't know how we're going to label this so people know. I don't really want to call it who. Anyway, that's for us to find out and you to
No.
read before you listen to this. It's that whole art imitating reality, imitating art thing that anyway, fun times.
Okay.
Thanks for listening.
Yep. We appreciate it.
Yeah, we do. We really do.
Especially if you stuck all the way to the end of us rambling.
And enjoy your bonus Friday episode.
Okay.
You might get one next week whenever she dives into Jonestown. You might get a Monday, Wednesday, Friday episode. 'Cause
Maybe.
that's going to be a long mofo.
Yeah, it is.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
And bye. Oof, that was terrible. Thanks for listening to our terrible podcast. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts, or wherever you like to listen. Feel free to follow us on Twitter at TMSTPod.
And if you'd like to support the show, you can find us on Patreon at Tell Me Something Terrible.